We know times are tight. And despite most people having health insurance, medical debt can really be a serious problem for many.
Now, there's now a group that's stepping in to help people make ends meet. And in one case, they've cleared $500,000 in bills.
Your reporter Andrew Hobner talked with that man and tells Andrew he had stacks of bills and no idea how he was going to pay for them. But help is out there.
It's something every American fears, a trip to the hospital that can leave you with 4, 5, even 6 figures of medical debt. Glenn Hayes down in El Paso County was one such person until he got connected with a nonprofit here in the state of Colorado that gave him a new lease on life, figuratively, financially, and quite literally. Hayes feels fortunate every time he steps out his door these days.
The doctors and the nurses and the hospital saved my life. This saved me again.
Back in January, a couple of steps in the snow nearly cost him his life.
I was there until February 2nd. I was actually in ICU for about 8 days with a breathing tube and out.
He had an aortic dissection. One of the valves in his heart had ruptured. Glenn survived, but what came after had him initially questioning his luck. The first bill was worth $20,000. The second from the hospital, $60,000. The third?
I look on the app and it's $540,000.
There was a gap of time in his health insurance. He wasn't covered, and the hospital visit happened during that period. He tried calling for Medicaid, getting insurance through brokers, but it was actually a chance meeting between his brother and his brother's neighbor that changed everything.
I'd have put my house up, on a collateral, done a loan, or had to sell it, and I'd be living in my brother's basement.
He was introduced to the Colorado Consumer Health Initiative.
I can show you the zero.
And their assistance program was ready.
And they really encouraged me to appeal the Medicaid denial.
They got on calls with Glenn, who by now was getting tired of being on hold.
I love UC Health. They're fantastic. They've saved my life. Their hold music should be played at Guantanamo Bay.
Eventually, they helped him get Medicaid, then get coverage for the hospital visits, and then retroactively for the trip in January, until one day.
And I look on the app and it says zero. It went from $540,000 to zero.
Now his recovery continues. He works out in his home, visits with a cardiologist, and does house repairs. As every step outside fills him with gratitude to be alive, but also to still be able to live. Now, Glenn says that all he really wants is for people to know that the health initiative is out there and that there is aid for people who get on these phone calls with insurance companies and don't really know the ins and outs of what they need to talk about. His hope that nobody has to go through a situation like his and see $540,000 in medical bills and think that they might have to pay that in full. In Denver, I'm Andrew Hobner, covering Colorado First.